ramus, and this is the, it's a big thing on the end of the bone that's known as a,
Is it the head? Oh.
starts with a C,
Condyle.
condyle. So, maxilla, body, ramus, condyle. Okay, so we went over that, and did you get the sphenoid? And the coronal suture, and the sagittal suture, and the amboidal suture, the squamosal suture. Okay, the vomer is the plow-shaped one on the bottom. The one that's broken out on this skull is the ethmoid. The vomer and the ethmoid make the nasal septum. The ethmoid has a horizontal plate in the anterior fossa of the cranium. That plate is horizontal with a lot of holes, and it's called the cribriform plate. Okay. So that's the cribriform plate of the ethmoid, and it's in the anterior fossa. So the posterior margin of the anterior fossa is this edge of the lesser wing of the sphenoid. Okay. The sella turcica is right here. Here's the middle cranial fossa, which basically goes from the posterior edge of the lesser wing to the ridge of the petrous portion of the temporal bone. And here's the posterior fossa, foramen magnum. Okay. Is that all you want out of the inside? Oh, another one. This sulcus is the sigmoid sulcus. Right? The sigmoid sulcus is used to drain the blood supply from the brain, and it's going to terminate at the jugular vein. Okay?
So that would be the jugular fossa, would be that?
So here, this hole right here is the jugular fossa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Which one's the carotid? Sorry, the carotid?
The carotids would be up here in the front coming in. They'd be this set right here.
Okay.
Let's go back to the temporal bone for a moment. And if you look at the posterior aspect of the temporal bone, this large hole right here is the internal auditory meatus. Just lateral to it, right here, you can see a little fissure, and that's the opening for the endolymphatic duct. Okay? Now, the fun part, the bottom. So, you got a good angle, or do you want the angle something different on your?
On the video? That angle's good.
This angle?
Yeah,
Okay.
I see a lot.
So if we move from the posterior aspect forward, okay, this is the mastoid process of the temporal bone. Here is the digastric groove. The digastric groove points to the stylomastoid foramen, which is right here. That's the opening for the seventh nerve. The styloid process is here. It's broken. Okay. If I move laterally, and I'm going to turn this around so your camera can see. If I move medially from the styloid foramen, I can look down into the jugular fossa, or the jugular foramen, and this flat area right here, this little pit, is the jugular fossa. Okay, so that's the jugular fossa. Just anterior to it, and let's turn it around, I can see it really well, this one, is looking right here. This is the carotid foramen. Okay? Which we said ended up on the inside, right there. we move laterally on the skull from the carotid foramen, we have these two pits, and those are the mandibular fossa. In the mandibular fossa, there's this crack, and that crack is the petrotympanic fissure. The petrotympanic fissure points medially to an opening, which you can see right here. Okay? So here's my petrotympanic fissure running this way. Here's the opening. Now, remember, this skull is upside down. So superior is actually down here. And inferior. So the superior part of that opening is the semicanal of the tensor tympani. The inferior portion is the bony eustachian tube. Okay? And that bony eustachian tube will lead up into the middle ear cavity. And so if we put our little probe up in there and we flip the skull around so that we can see the external auditory meatus, you can see the probe coming in from the anterior wall of the middle ear space. Okay? Palatine bones, alveolar ridge. The hamulus would be here. It's broken off. What else would you like to know?
I think I went over everything that I had in mind.
Okay.
Anybody
So now
else?
you have documentation.
We can
Dr. Gould,
study
you
it.
said. I got proof. Okay.